Your brain is already making a fatal mistake right now because it assumes the sun is permanent, stable, and protecting you without question. If the sun vanished for just 10 seconds, over 99% of humanity would realize too late that survival was never guaranteed. The first thing you notice is not darkness, but an impossible, deafening silence that sweeps across the entire globe instantly. Light travels fast, but its absence travels faster. A wave of nothingness that erases the world from your eyes. But the instant chill that drops the temperature by several degrees is not the most terrifying part of this moment. For 8 minutes, we are bathed in old light. But when the real blackout hits, chaos doesn't just begin, it erupts. Every power grid on the planet, destabilized by the sudden solar flare shockwave, would instantly collapse into total failure. And here is the hidden truth that astronomers almost never discuss in public forums or mainstream interviews. There is a secret about what becomes visible in the sky when the sun's blinding light is suddenly switched off. Almost nobody talks about the horrifying possibility that the sun isn't just a star, it's a celestial shield hiding something. During those 10 seconds of pure, unfiltered cosmic vision, would you look up at the sky or would you look down in terror? Comment your honest answer below, because your choice determines whether you face the horror or live in blissful ignorance. The Earth would continue its trajectory, hurtling through the dark at over 67,000 miles per hour, now completely blind. You would feel a sudden disorienting weightlessness as Earth's orbit minutely but violently shifts from the sun's missing gravity. This is where all our predictive models fail, because the laws of physics are being temporarily suspended on a cosmic scale. The world's animals, governed by circadian rhythms, would descend into a state of mass panic and confusion. Vast migrations would trigger, birds would fall from the sky, and deep-sea creatures would rise to a surface shrouded in darkness. But what happens in our own minds is where the true, lasting psychological damage would begin to take hold. Your brain, deprived of its primary timekeeper, would struggle to process the sudden stop, inducing widespread vertigo and nausea. The 10 seconds would feel like an eternity, a stretched-out moment of pure sensory deprivation and existential dread. What appears in the sky next is something that government agencies have actively suppressed for over 50 years. During solar eclipses, strange, fleeting shadows have been recorded by sensitive instruments, but they are always dismissed as errors. These are not sensor glitches. They are glimpses of something vast moving in the darkness between the planets. The real danger was never the cold or the dark. It was always about what the sun's glare has been hiding. Then, exactly 10 seconds later, the sun reappears, not gradually, but in a blinding flash of unimaginable energy. The light hits your eyes not as warmth, but as a violent, painful blast, like a camera flash inches from your face. The atmosphere, supercooled and then flash heated, would create the most violent thunderstorms in the history of the planet. Winds exceeding 500 miles per hour would scour the face of the Earth, a global firestorm of epic proportions. This is where most people assume the event is over, but the return of the sun is just a different kind of catastrophe. The side of the Earth facing the sun's return would be instantly scorched by a wave of intense, unfiltered radiation. The sudden gravitational snapback into place would trigger earthquakes and tsunamis on a scale never before witnessed. But that's still not the secret, because the physical destruction is nothing compared to the truth that was just revealed. For those who dared to look up during those 10 seconds, the sight would forever break their perception of reality. You would not see the familiar, comforting blanket of stars and distant galaxies that you would expect to see. Instead, the sky would be filled with a faint geometric pattern, a colossal web-like structure connecting every star. This is the moment where your sanity is put on trial, as you realize the universe is not empty space at all. Astronomers have a theoretical name for it. They call it a Dyson swarm. But this is no theory, it is real. But that's not the most disturbing part. The structures are not just there, they are perfectly silent and motionless. The sky would look like a circuit board, a vast and ancient piece of engineering on a galactic scale. You would see that the stars are not natural fireballs, but nodes in a system of unimaginable size and purpose. This sight would reveal that humanity is not living in a natural wilderness, but inside a controlled, artificial environment. The silence is the most terrifying part, a clear indication that the owners of this structure are aware of us. The 10-second blackout was not an accident. It was a deliberate act, a system reboot, or perhaps even a warning. What happens to human psychology when we realize our sky is a ceiling and our sun is merely a light bulb? This is the secret that would be impossible to contain, as billions of people would have seen the same impossible thing. Governments would fall overnight as their lies about our place in the cosmos would be exposed in a single moment. Religions would crumble as their creation myths are replaced by the horrifying truth of a manufactured reality. But the final, most unsettling secret is not what you saw, but what the owners of the structure did next. The blackout was not just a reveal, it was an act of communication directed at every intelligent species inside. The message was simple and utterly terrifying. We know you are here, and we can turn off your light at will. The sun is no longer a source of life. It is now the symbol of our imprisonment, a constant reminder. Every sunrise would be a reminder that our existence is permitted, not guaranteed, by an unseen cosmic landlord. Humanity's ambition to explore the stars would die instantly, replaced by the crushing fear of attracting the owner's attention. We would be like fish in a bowl, suddenly aware of the glass and the face that is staring in at us. Scientific progress would halt, replaced by a frantic, paranoid search for a way to hide or to escape. The 10 seconds of darkness would be debated for centuries, a new genesis, a moment that divided all of history. But the memory of that silent, patterned sky would be burned into the collective consciousness of our species forever. The final horror is the realization that the sun's light doesn't protect us, it only prevents us from seeing the bars of our cage. Every moment of daylight is now tainted with the knowledge that we are living inside a machine we can't understand. And you realize that the silence from the structure is not peaceful. It is the patient silence of a zookeeper.